Hello everybody and welcome to this Train Sim World 4 route suggestion. Today we're going to be having a look at the LT&S, the London, Tilbury and Southend line, or lines, between London and Shoeburyness via various places. This was suggested by Circle Line Enjoyer. If you would like to suggest something yourself, please jump onto the Discord server if you're not already there. And there's a suggestions channel that you can post your ideas in. And I look through them and I pick the ones that I like the best and I'll make a video on them. So, yes, let's get straight in. So the route is 78 miles long, which is a lot, but there aren't too many stations. And additionally, there's a lot of branches here that could be cut, although I would prefer them not to be. So we've got 25 stations, maximum speed anywhere is 75 miles an hour, which isn't fast, but it's not slow either by any means. This is more of a sort of suburban route. The thing that I like about this, the thing that the thing that made me want to do is it's still a London route, which, okay, but it's overhead line into London, which we don't have yet. And it's more or less fully self-contained. Like the LT&S doesn't really interface much with anything else. I know on the weekends c2c run trains into Liverpool Street, but only twice an hour. And weekdays, where the Trains in World timetables are set, it's fully self-contained. There's no other operators running on this line, no other passenger operators running on this line, and they don't run on any other lines. So it's a nice route. It's fully self-contained. You can do an end-to-end run, which I know people like. So this is the LT&S from Fenchurch Street to Shoeburyness via Basildon, Ockenden, and Rainham. So we've got all this stuff, all the branches. And that's the other thing that attracted me, is that it's not linear. It's a proper network, which anyone who knows my content knows that I am a sucker for proper networks. But yeah, it is on the longer side for metro-ish routes, which is why potentially the Ockenden branch, or even the whole southern branch, could be cut. In the interests of keeping the route feasible. Rolling stock, pretty simple here. You could get the Class 357 Electro Star, which are, sort of turbo stars but electric, and the 720 Adventures, which c2c have only recently taken delivery of, which I think look quite nice in that pink and yellow livery. Of course, this is the up-to-date stuff, and if this would ever come to fruition, I would imagine it would just have the 357, because Dovetail seem to have some sort of one loco per route fetish. So, whatever. But I think we already have Adventurous sounds, and we already have not Electrostar sounds, and besides, other than the front end, it's just an Electrostar, which Dovetail have already made lots of. And the Adventure body shell and sounds, if they do it properly, can be reallocated to other, like you can do, I know they're slightly different, but the 701s for Southwestern, the 720s for Greater Anglia, the 710s for London Overground, and again, I know they're slightly different, but the 730s for West Midlands. So there's lots of scope there for it, and also the 345s, obviously, for Crossrail. Although they're slightly different again, but there's lots of scope there to expand the Adventurers. Obviously, they're sort of the next big rolling stock family. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. The timetable, we have the offbeat timetable of 6 trains an hour into Fenchurch Street, so every 10 minutes. We've got 2 trains an hour on the full length of the line on the main line from Fenchurch Street to Shoeburyness via Basildon. You've got the 2 trains per hour from Fenchurch Street to Southend Central via Ockenden, which is, I believe, starts on the top end through Upminster and then runs. So if you can, you can see my cursor up here, down, and then across to Southend, but not the final 3 stops in. And 2 trains an hour, Fenchurch Street to Grays via Rainham. So there would be the shortest services running down here. Then the middle service, like the middle distance, would be running up here, and then the long distance would be running all the way end to end. But yeah, not overly, it's not high speed or anything. On peak, however, the services are far more frequent. We're talking about like trains every 5 odd minutes. and it's the timetable's all over the place because it's mainline rail and it's not designed to be a metro, but it's very frequent in the peak periods, really, really frequent. I'll leave the link to the timetable in the description below if you want to have a look for yourself. And the layers, there's not too much that can be layered on because obviously this is a fully self-contained route, but we could have the Southeastern Class 395s on the high-speed one that runs parallel to the LTNS between... where? Let's have a look on the map. It would be up more or less to Barking? This is sort of between Barking and Raynham, I think. I'm not too familiar with this part of the UK, but certainly the high-speed one parallels the line for a fair bit, so we can have the 395s along there. And likewise, owners of this could have 357s doubling on the LTNS as AI on the Southeastern high speed. So it will work in both ways. We could get the Class 66, obviously, from the East Coast Main Line, if that's not included by default to run freight services or whatnot. Have the railhead treatment train, because they seem to like, Dovetail seem to like throwing that onto everything at the moment. And I guess, you know, add a bit of variation, why not? It's not completely out of place. And the Brighton Main Line Class 387. I know these are out of service now, so that's sort of less of an option, but it could be sort of a Dovetail clearly don't care about authentic timetables anyway, so I don't think that's a problem. But it'd be much easier to make this than it would a 357. And yes, they need to relivery it, but it seems like they're somewhat okay with well, from the one example of Niedertalbahn. But it would be cool, and I know they only had 6 of these or something, but I think it'd be cool to have, you know, 3 different types of train. Because it's especially considering they're all pretty basic, one-handle electric multiple units. I think it would be nice to have the variety there within that very basic group of trains. Anyway, that is more or less it for the London, Tilbury and Southend. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you think this should be a route, then, I don't know, like the video or something obviously baiting. If you have any thoughts, comment below. If you have your own route that you'd like me to make a video on, jump onto the Discord server. Have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.